It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso right here on SABC3. So good to be hanging out with you. It is your Wednesday. It's downhill to the weekend, and we love it. Now, there's only 1 week left until school holidays, and the schools close their doors. But for many learners, their brains have already shifted into holiday mode. I know mine's already in holiday mode. But this morning, we're joined in studio by certified parent coach Laura Markovitz is back to talk about the importance of relaxing and reflecting on the 2018 academic year. Laura, lovely to see you. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Where are we now? Is it the 5th of December?
I think so, yes.
It's ridiculous,
yes,
man.
We're there.
It's
I
crazy.
know.
Like
Here
I said,
we go.
we are all, I think, in a
We're
little
in
bit
it.
of a holiday mode at this stage.
We're ready. We're ready and raring.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I know the youngsters and the learners must be super excited.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. Obviously, it's been a long year. There's been a hard graft, especially from our matrics and our grade 11 learners. Well, pretty much all around, actually.
Yeah.
But why would you say it's important to take stock and reflect on the year that's passed, and not to just kind of shut off completely?
Switch off, exactly. I mean, it's so tempting. We're tired. We're ready to
I
just
intend to switch off.
completely switch off. But it's such a useful time to do exactly what you're saying, which is
Yeah.
take stock and reflect, think about and talk about what went well, what didn't go so well, what kind of things you'd like to do differently next year to improve things. And it's really a good opportunity to be a little bit mindful so that we can think about what we learned, what we didn't learn, what we didn't like, so that we can actually learn something from it. And, you know, I always say to families, do this in a lovely, relaxed way around the table, just talking to each other, to think about how the year went so that we get the opportunity to relax and recharge our batteries in a thoughtful way.
Exactly, and I know we're focusing on the learners, but I think this is something everyone can actually do. I mean, if I have to think back, I mean, there's a couple of things that I would like to change and do differently as well in the new year. I think hence the whole New Year's resolutions things, just stick to it when it comes to the time. But with regards to kids now, just relaxing a little bit. So obviously they'll turn to things like, watching TV and, some maybe gaming.
Never.
It's going to happen. Is that a healthy way to kind of switch off, or what would you say?
So, of course, I think it's absolutely normal. We all want to kind of sit around and watch TV, and the kids want to game a bit. It's quite normal, but I think it's that elusive balance thing. And I'm sure kids out there would love me to be saying, absolutely, parents, let your children sit all day and watch TV. But I think we know intuitively that that's not a good idea. And I think we spoke a bit about it
Follow the instinct,
we spoke about it last week, that we've got to think about what our kids are potentially missing out on if they are sitting around there. And we want to make sure, as much as it's holiday time and switching off time, that they do remain mentally, physically, socially active as well. Because otherwise, if we think about what we're setting them up for, having to kind of recalibrate when they go into the new year, it's not such a good thing to be setting them up for. So absolutely, a little bit of screen time, sure thing, but think about how you're using it and when you're using it and how much.
And I mean, how big of a role does, parents play in facilitating these activities that the kids do? Should they be able to play a big role and say, like, listen, now we do this, or now we do this, or should there be a bit more freedom of choice?
So, I mean, first of all, for those who do get to take a break as parents, it's your holiday as well.
Yes.
And you don't need to be the absolute Pied Piper and thinking about entertaining the children 24/7 and keeping them occupied. We all know boredom is a good state for them to be and for them to find creative things to be doing. But it is helpful for us to sit around and help them think about creatively what can they be doing instead of sitting around. So a bit of sitting around and arbing is absolutely fine, but I think we do have a role to play to help them think about what other things they can be doing to keeping them mentally, physically and socially active during the holidays.
Absolutely. And I think most of all, just enjoy the time that you have together.
Yeah, connecting. I mean, this is the time, absolutely, that we're not just sitting around and trying to tick boxes. It's about hanging out and reconnecting.
I think that is the one thing that I'm most looking forward to, because you get so disconnected throughout the course of the year with everything. But we're going to be talking about that. Laura, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We'll continue about the importance of reflecting on your 2018 academic year and everything that went well and that didn't go so well, and how you can go about changing it, and also how you can switch off the correct way this holidays. Wow, the shady lady right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Anyways, let's break away from that for a second and continue talking parenting this morning. We're sitting down with Laura Markovitz once again. We're talking about the importance of reflecting on your academic year, not to just completely mindlessly switch off, but still to stay active and creative throughout the holidays. Laura, thank you very much for joining us once again this morning. Lovely to have you. So we left it off in the previous segment with creative ways. I think that's where we're continuing right now, that parents can facilitate going into the holidays to make sure that the kids don't just veg out, you know, and a little bit of vegging is good.
A little bit of vegging is good, absolutely, yeah. So I think it's all, you know, what happens sometimes is the holidays start and then we wake up at the end of the holidays and we went, wow, what happened there? So it's quite nice to actually think about what we want to do in the holidays. And I love the idea of actually sitting down with our kids, drawing up a bit of a list for them and for us, if we're fortunate enough to get a bit of time off, to think about what we would like to be doing. And we're not looking, you know, like big ticket items. They might say they want to go to the moon, and that may not be possible this holiday.
Maybe next one.
But put it out there. Let's think about what we'd like to be doing. It might be putting things on there like having a pajama day. It might even be things like having a screen day. You know, let's have a bit of a binge watch and watch movies for that
popcorn
day.
going, but
Absolutely.
as a family.
But yeah, and think about it, and so that we actually putting a little bit of thought in it, and we don't just wake up and think, oh, I wish I had time to have done that during the holidays. So really to be thoughtful about it. And then a lot of parents are still working in the holidays. And so for them to also think about what can they be doing. You know, you asked earlier, do parents need to be pulling out all the stops to keep their kids entertained? So it's useful to think about how they can facilitate that stuff without controlling and micromanaging all that sort of stuff. But looking at things like your local library, if they have any programs, Googling things around town that are happening. I saw a wonderful thing that someone put on the Facebook page on the village about their working mom. They've got 2 teenage kids, and for the last holidays, they set their kids tasks, like read a chapter of your book and find 3 words that you have never known before and tell me about them when I come home.
Cool.
Bake a cake. Go to the shop and buy ingredients and do this. So they're creative things we can be doing that don't cost a fortune to keep our kids entertained.
Things out of the ordinary, which I love. And I also do find that if you plan out your holiday and you keep busy, then you can tackle that age-old thing about, oh my goodness, this holiday just flew by. Because it feels that you've packed a lot into that time as well. You got to make use of that time. What's the benefit of taking that approach of taking your holiday and, you know, just recount things that have happened throughout the course of the year, making sure that you just kind of switch gears in the holiday, but not completely mindlessly. How will that help you go into your next year as a learner, as a student, maybe as a youngster?
So, I mean, some families, and there's conflicting ideas around it, that we need to keep our kids' brains active all the time, give them revision, give them textbooks, let them sit down, do all of that. The honest thing is they need some time to recalibrate, to recharge their batteries. And also there's so much learning to be done by just engaging with the world and engaging with friends and playing and being creative. And that sets them and us up to start off the year in a much better place than being jam-packed with facts and textbooks and revision and all that kind of stuff. So it really is trying to find a balance between switching off, because it's so important to switch off a bit, and also just trying to remain engaged and active and stimulated.
Keep the wheels turning a little bit, so it's not so hard to get them turning once you start off with. And I'm planning to deal with my boys as well, be it drawing or colouring or these kind of things. I enjoy doing that with my boys as well this holiday. But Laura, thank you very, very much. Yes, we're all excited for the holidays, and I'm sure maybe you are as well. Enjoy it, but you're not done with us just yet. Thank you very much for joining us. It's your Wednesday morning. That's your parenting. Make sure that you just make full use of this holiday with your kids and as a family together.